Boom! Episode 5 of Tech Talk is here, ready to rip. It's going to be great. And by the way, did you know I know magic? Puh! Boof! All right, welcome to episode 5 of Tech Talk. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Stephen Rowe. I'm your host, where it's my job to make sure that all of you are up to date with the latest tactics, strategy, and trends of the World Wide Web. And we're going to take this in 3 parts as always. Part 1, headlines and current events. Part 2 is going to be tactics and strategy. And part 3 is going to be a call out to something or someone doing something amazing on the World Wide Web. And let's go ahead and start all the way at part number 1. And I have a stat attack for you. I want to share with you social media statistics that everybody should know. And so here they are, a couple fun ones for you to know. How many people use social media? Well, according to Statista, in 2021, 4.48 billion users worldwide are accessing social media, and on average, they're reaching 6.6 social media websites. 4.48 billion monthly active users on social media. That is a huge number. That's roughly 58% of the entire world, which is a massive one to consider. Let's hop back over into the United States, though, and break it down by daily usage by generation. Now, I'm sorry, Generation Alpha, but I'm just going to pick on people who are 18 and above. Fun fact, if you haven't heard that before, Generation Alpha, why did they get the cool name? I'm millennial. I think that was cool. Generation Z sounds fun. Generation Alpha just sounds like top dog. I'm scared of what's going to be possible with that generation. But let's go ahead and look at Generation Z and millennials. People aged 18 to 29, 84% of you are on social media. People who are between the ages of 30 to 49, I'm talking elder millennials and Generation X, we're looking at 81%. As we push more towards baby boomers, 50 to 64, it drops a little bit to 73%. And those of us who are part of, I think, the silent generation, over the age of 65, 45% of people still exist on social media. So your grandma, your grandpa probably has a social media account at this point, likely a Facebook, but 45%, almost half of people over the age of 65 are on social media, which is also pretty notable to consider. Some other stats that I have for you really quickly is how much time do people spend on social media? Well, the latest stats that I found from Data Reportal said on average, you, the user, you're spending about 2 hours and 25 minutes on social media. I know looking at myself, if the mirror's pointed at me right now, it may be a little bit more than that, embarrassingly, but on average, people in America, 2 hours and 25 minutes on social media. And how you're accessing it, about 78% of people, or 2.97 billion users worldwide, are using it exclusively from their mobile device, which is really interesting to think of from a content creation standpoint. A lot of us are using our Macs, our laptops, our desktops to create content. It's really important to consider that 78% of people on average are accessing social media exclusively through mobile device. So when you have your designs in mind, always have that mind for mobile, and you're going to achieve a lot more success on this beautiful internet of ours. All right, let's go ahead and hop over to part 2 of Tech Talk, episode 5. I'm so glad you're here. And for this tactics and strategy section today, this segment, I've got for you Google Insurance. And my question is, do you have Google Insurance? And you might be asking, Stephen, what's Google Insurance? And Google Insurance simply is what people will find when they type in your name. It could be your potential employer. It could be your coworkers. It could be your crush, that swiped right on you and is trying to figure out if you're not a crazy person or not. People are looking up your name, and it's so important that you have Google Insurance. And I've got 4 components that will boost you on your Google rankings and ultimately make sure you're presenting yourself in the best way possible. Number 1 is a personal website. This is one of the easiest building blocks to do. And I know many of us in the back of our head have been thinking, I need to get a website. I need to get a website. Well, let this be your reminder. Let this be the sign that you need a personal website. These things are easier to build than ever these days, using websites like squarespace.com, wix.com, weebly.com. And none of these people pay me, by the way, to advertise their products, but if you know anybody that works there that wants to start paying me, we'll talk after the podcast. But I personally use squarespace.com and I love it. And the best part about it is there was a 14-day free trial. So you can start today, you can start this evening, you can start tomorrow and create a website that's ready to wow. And this has to be baked in, so to speak, on the World Wide Web for it to start appearing with your name. And so the best time to plant a tree, of course, was 20 years ago. But the next best time is now. Let's get that personal website off the ground so that you're appearing much more favorably inside of Google. Number 2 is an all-star LinkedIn profile. This one is a very easy, low-hanging fruit for a lot of us in our professional career. Of course, LinkedIn, if you look at your profile, there's a bunch of rankings that are available to you. Make sure you reach the top. Make it an all-star profile, and you're going to look much better on Google. When people look up your name, this is often the biggest social media site that's popping up for people. So make sure your LinkedIn is ready to wow. Part 3 is a strong social media presence. Now, there's very different avenues that we're all going, but make sure that your social media game is on point, my friends, or on fleek, as people older than me say, or lit, as people younger than me say. I don't know if people actually say that, but I like the word lit. Anyways, definitely have a strong social media presence. And, some of us are writers and we want to get published on places like Bongino Report, Drudge Report, Fox News, CNN, etc. Some of us are audio people, and maybe it's music, maybe it's an audiobook, maybe it's a podcast. And some people are video people, so maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's the national news. But make sure that you have a strong social media presence in whatever mechanism of communication that you are transmitting online. Now, my mom told me that I have a face for radio, which is why I've got this podcast here. No, I'm totally joking. She did not say that. Sorry, Mom. You're probably watching this right now. I'm sorry. Okay, but those are the 4 components of Google Insurance: personal website, all-star LinkedIn profile, a strong social media presence, and positive news coverage, number 4. And this really is for a lot of people in politics, but anybody who's passionate about a politician, you're passionate about a policy, or just anything in general that's worthy of news, you should think about getting positive news coverage, because you can leverage that for panels, for being on the news, and of course for Google Insurance. It's going to pop up when people see your name, and if it's an article that's favorable in your direction, you're going to start looking like the industry expert for whatever vertical that you've chosen to get news coverage on. So that's a great one at number 4, which is news coverage. All right, let's go ahead and pop over to part 3 of Tech Talk. And man, I can't believe how fast we're getting here, but I hope this has been a lot of value here today. And part 3, of course, is a success story of somebody or something great doing things that are amazing on the World Wide Web. And today, I'm going to call out a website, because this website is one I recommend in my trainings all the time. For people who have not heard of this website before, you're welcome. For people that have heard of this website, you're going to like, yeah, this is a great thing. People should use this. The website is canva.com, canva.com. It's free, easy graphic design. It's literally drag and drop. And again, I'm not being paid by Canva to recommend them. I just sound like an ad sometimes. But anyways, Canva is great, especially for politics. And I wanted to point out a couple features that could really stick out for people who might be running for local office and can't afford that expensive graphic designer. Number 1 is your social media, of course. This is the go-to place for easy social media, from YouTube thumbnails to Facebook ads to, a Twitter banner and more. Check that out and supercharge your efforts. They also have video elements that can now combine with your social media, which will increase your engagement. Pretty good stuff. Number 2 is yard signs. You can do yard signs on Canva, and now you can be placing them in your community. Hopefully that's going to help you get your name recognition up just a little bit. Of course, yard signs don't win elections, but they certainly help. And 3 is t-shirts. And t-shirts, and not just t-shirts, there's mugs and other apparel that you can create on Canva. Here's what I would do. I would create a store and charge, $25, $30, $35 for this t-shirt as a donation to my campaign. And I can buy 5 of them ahead of time from Canva after creating the design and then put it on my store. And now I've got a store that's ready to wow and ready to go. And ultimately, I can collect more campaign donations from people that want to support my efforts. And worst case scenario, if they don't sell, I can give them to my top supporters, volunteers, things like that. And number 4 is bio links. And this really brings me to places like Instagram, where you only have one link in most situations to drive traffic, that link in your bio, well, it's important. Of course, there's paid services like Linktree, which is awesome, but you can do it for free using Canva. And they've got some amazing bio links so everybody can have an organized social media presence in one location. So people can, follow you on Twitter. They can subscribe to your YouTube channel. They can join your email list or join your Facebook group. Wherever you want to drive them, you can do that very easily with a really compact bio link, and you can build one for free using Canva. And this is only scratching the surface of what's available. Of course, there's a content calendar. There's a lot of other things going on there. But really check out that website, canva.com. If you have not heard of it before, you are so welcome. If you've used it before, leave a comment down below and let me know if you have used it for your efforts or any other features that I'm missing that would be amazing for people that want to do free, easy graphic design. All right, my friends, finally, we are starting to wrap up episode 5 of Tech Talk. I hope that you have been enjoying this series. I personally have loved it, and I'm going to keep going. I'm not stopping anytime soon, and we are going to keep this momentum. And so, of course, stay connected with me at Robots, ROWEBOTZ. Go ahead and give me that follow. Let me know what you thought of this episode. I've already appreciated the many DMs and comments that I've been receiving. You guys are all so awesome. I'm feeling the love, which is why I'm going to keep doing it and giving you that love back in terms of value. So I want to leave you, as always, with a quote. And the quote is, "The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me," by Ayn Rand. So a special shout out to my libertarian friends out there who like the Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged, all that good stuff. But I really like that quote. It's not who's going to let you, it's who's going to stop you. And I'll tell you what, there's not a lot that can stop you when you put your mind to what you want to achieve in this world. So until the next episode of Tech Talk, remember to leave everyone and everything better than you found it. Peace.